Hello, good evening, everyone. Happy Thankful Thursday. How are you today? I am excited and I'm grateful to be before you tonight. This has been an amazing and a very interesting day, but I'm excited to be before you tonight. This is our Women's History Month, and we have an amazing month before you. We have exciting, we have an amazing month before you, and we have some amazing women that we are going to share with you on this month. So I pray that you are ready. I pray that you are excited. I pray that you have your drink, your coffee, your tea, your water, whatever it is that you normally drink, that you have it in front of you, that you are seated, that you are ready to enjoy this candid conversation on tonight. This is March the 5th, and we are going to get started. I am not going to delay. This has been an amazing and a phenomenal day, but a busy day. So, on tonight, I have the pleasure and the honor of bringing before you an amazing woman of God. She is a mother, she is a wife, she is a business owner, and she is a woman that loves empowering and just sharing her love with other women. I met her, I want to say about 2 years ago, and the minute I laid eyes on her and her family, I was this at awe. How I saw her husband tending to her and her girls, how I just saw them as a family. It was just like, I was this, it was this captivating to my eyes. And ever since then, we have had an amazing relationship, amazing conversations. And it's just grown from there up until now. And let me tell you, when I say she's amazing, she is amazing. She is a healthcare, she is a mental health professional. She is, oh my goodness, she is a social worker. She is an amazing autism mom. She has a daughter that's on the spectrum. I have a son on the spectrum. And I met her at the My Way matinee, the first movie showing that we had. Her and her family came. And let me tell you, this woman, when I say she is dynamic, I'm telling you, she is dynamic. When you get to meet her tonight and when she began to share, you will see why she is one of the women that have been hand selected to share with us for this Women's History Month. Her story is just absolutely amazing. I'm not going to talk real. I'm not going to keep talking. I'm going to let you meet this sister. I'm going to bring her front and center, and we're going to begin and carry on this candid conversation because she needs to get back to her family, and I'm going to be respectful of her time. Here goes. I call her Dr. Brown. Here she goes. How
Hello,
are
hello,
you?
hello. Thank you so much for the warm welcome and the wonderful introduction, Dr. Bailey. This was
Yes,
amazing. I love it, love it, love it, love it. I appreciate you.
yes, Dr. Brown. I am so elated to have you on tonight. I thank you for your yes. I thank you for coming in the room tonight. I want to first start off with you just I know I share some snippets about you,
Mhm.
but I want you to just tell us about your journey. Maybe just maybe one or two things from maybe your childhood. Just
Okay,
start there
okay.
and then let's go from there.
No problem. So, a little bit about me. I'm a New Yorker, born and raised New Yorker, living in the South now. So, I am a New Yorker, born and raised Harlem specifically. I lived in New York. I mean, I've traveled everywhere, as she
Uh-huh.
knows. But so I actually, my childhood is what actually got me into social work. I became a social worker, mental health professional because my mother passed away at a really young age, and then my grandmother, who was became my guardian right after that, a year later she passed away from cancer. So I was in this field, like I growing up, I got to meet a lot of different social workers, well, who I thought was social workers. A lot of them worked with the services, but they were not necessarily social workers. But a lot of them, I would say, failed me. They failed to do their job appropriately. And I always said, when I grow up, I'm gonna save children, because I feel like children are our most vulnerable population. Like, children should be protected at all costs. So that was what kind of pushed me into the field, because like I said, different experiences in my childhood, I didn't have someone to be the voice for me. Like, the social workers, people who were supposed to have their hand in it to ensure safety and all that good jazz, they did not do their jobs appropriately. And I vowed to never allow that to happen. If I had a chance, if I had any say so in it, I said, when I grow up, I'm gonna be a social worker. I'm gonna take care of the children. So you can see how that, like, being of service has always been heavy in my heart. And my grandmother, Southern woman from the South. She always had a heart of service. I watched her take care of the community, and I think those seeds planted in me very early. Although she passed away when I was young, just at the age of 7. Just seeing her take care of the community, everyone knew her. Like, even till this day, I can go back home to New York, and people are like, "Your grandmother? Oh, that's the twin." I'm a twin, so every time they're like, "Oh my God, your grandmother, she did such a good job with you. She would be so proud of you." Even though, like I said, she passed away when I was super young, those seeds that she planted in me, not just of service, being of community, but also of
Mhm.
faith, right? Like, I never let the things that I went through have a negative impact on my life. I use that to push me to do good. A lot of times growing up, the way I grew up, you could have used that to become a statistic. I could have used that, like, losing a mother at the tender age of 6 years old, 7 years old, back to back losses. That is so instrumental. Like, women in your life at that age, it's so instrumental to have those nurturers. And the fact that I'm able to still have those qualities, even though I did
Mhm.
not have it for so long, it showed that it still had an impact on me. Like, my
Mhm.
grandmother planted those seeds, and she did a great job, even if it was
Uh-huh.
just for a short amount of time. But that's how I kind of got into the field of social work. And from there, I've been in all types, I've worked with all types of populations. So I started out, I was at psychiatric hospital. I was with Child Protective Services. I did mental health, intensive outpatient treatment program, substance abuse in California, group therapy. I've been all listen. I've been everywhere and worked with so many different, and that's the good thing about social workers and mental
Uh-huh.
health. Like, you get to wait, shameless plug. It's March. It is social work. It is actually National Social Work Month. So I just want to give a special shout out
Thank
to
you for your service.
all of the social workers out there. But
Yes.
yeah, I think, like, I was able to go to work with different populations even to this
Mhm.
day. Now, having my own children, I swayed away from child
Uh-huh.
protective services and CPS and all of that, just because my children require a lot out of me, and that field is just very heavy. I'm still working with social work, but just in a nonprofit sector. But outside of that, yeah, that's a little bit. I had said a long spiel, but that's the gist
Uh-huh.
of how I got into the social work field.
Uh-huh. And how old are your children?
My awesome kiddo, Summer Rain, she is 6 years old. She'll be 7 in June. And
Uh-huh.
then Raina Sky is 1 years old. She'll be 2 in June.
Okay. And you are married. How long have you been married?
Yes. We've been at this thing since 2015. And we've been, look, it's been a long time. That's when we actually so we've actually been friends since high school. So I've known
Okay.
him since I was 15 years old. I'm 35 now. So
Okay. Okay.
we've been rocking and rolling ever since.
Okay. All righty. Well, congratulations. That's some major milestones. So if you had to say out of the social work field, when you look at the stuff that you've done, because I've always wanted to be a social worker, just never
Mhm,
went to school, but I
mhm,
feel like I do it, but I just do it in a different way.
Of
But
course.
when you look at the social work field, what is one of the things that you feel like is so much more needed in that field?
Um, in our field, cultural competency, um, and representation, people who understand. I feel like, again, I got into the field, like I said, because there
Uh-huh.
was a major disservice for me as a
Mhm,
child. But
mhm,
when a lot of the social workers who I had, they were Caucasian, and they did not
uh-huh,
understand the dynamics um of the black family unit. So some of the
mhm,
things that were happening, I
mhm,
think having someone who looks like you can definitely make a heavy impact. But not
mhm,
just that, having people who actually really really care,
mhm,
because some of the social workers who may have been in a field like now, like even back then, some of them are jaded from burnout, right? Like
mhm,
sometimes when you've been working in a field for so long,
mhm,
you your next client just becomes a number. Like everybody,
mhm,
like that's just like, oh, that's another Tom, that's another Tom. No, I'm not just another Tom. I'm an individual. Like you have to look at my story for
uh-huh,
what it is and unpack the different aspects of that. But I think when you are in a field so long, you kind of get jaded. And that's why, especially if certain things have happened, there are people who are burnt out. I feel like when you get to that point, you need to leave, either exit stage left, or find a different population that you want to work with. So, like for me, like I said,
uh-huh,
after having my children, I knew pouring into other kids 24/7. I still love to pour into children, but I know as far as my role, like I know my role, we're going into work 24/7, working with children, abused children, and seeing all of that, being exposed to that. I didn't want that to consume me because I still have to come home and parent my own children. I still have to come home
correct.
and be able to pour into my own household.
Uh-huh,
So I
correct.
said, maybe it's time for me. And like I said, I have a master's degree in social work. I can take that and literally go. People are looking for social workers all the time, but I can go anywhere. The field is so big. Okay, hey, you don't want to do specific children child protective services anymore. Okay, maybe go work at the health department. Maybe you can work with substance use. Maybe you can work with mental health in a different capacity. Maybe you can work at the
Uh-huh,
hospital. Maybe you can work. I've worked in a high school with students. Like there's different levels, and there's
level.
different, different things that you can get into. But you have to know your biases. You have to know when it's too much, and you have to be honest about that instead of pushing past and keep doing it, because I feel like your
Uh-huh,
clients you're doing your clients more of a disservice, and not just the clients, but you're also doing yourself. Because anything that I have my name tied to, I want to make sure it's A1. I want to make sure it's top tier. I'm not doing it just to do it. I'm doing it because this is my passion. I'm doing it because I want to make a difference. And if
correct.
you are now just doing it just for the, and as I said, like you
Just
really
to
have to
push
have
the
a heart of
paperwork.
service.
Correct.
Exactly, you have to have a heart of service to get in this field. And
Correct.
people, I think many people, the reality of it is many people start off and they're passionate about it, but somewhere along
Uh-huh.
the way they
They
lose their.
lose the passion for it.
Hmm.
Correct. Correct. Very, 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 very detailed answer. And I appreciate that because sometimes we can stay a place too long till we do a disservice to the population and the clients that we serve. You're
Yeah.
absolutely correct. And we need to know when to go. We need to know
Hello.
when to leave.
Know when it's
Exactly.
your time, and it's nothing wrong with leave. It's nothing. I'd rather leave
Leave.
before then something happens to me and my name is on the line. And we sign a code of ethics as social workers, and you take that pledge like a doctor would take a pledge, or any oath. The lawyers take oaths. It's the same for
Uh-huh.
social workers. And if you're not abiding by that day in and day out, then it's time for you to exit stage left. It's time for you to go. And it's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with go. I'd rather you go before somebody has to kick you out, and now your name is up there and it's banned
Or
and
you in
barred.
court, or you in court because somebody child got killed because you didn't pull them out of the house on time because of
Exactly.
abuse or something to that degree.
Mhm.
And we've seen that numerous times
Yep.
in multiple states, correct?
Hmm.
Um, the next question that I have, as a mom of an awesome kiddo,
Hmm.
how did you feel the day you got Summy's diagnosis? How did you and your husband process that?
Well, for us, and this is why I say like teamwork makes the dream work. Because for us, when we got the diagnosis, let me give you a little backstory. So,
Okay.
Summy, this was in we moved out here a little bit before the pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
and I became a stay-at-home mom by force because the world had shut down. So it was just
Uh-huh.
me and Summy in the house by ourselves. He was working, he was truck driver at the time, and me and Summy in the house by ourselves. This is my first child. So honestly, nothing that Summy did stood out to, like, you know how some parents will be like, oh, there were signs. I knew there were signs. For me, I seen absolutely nothing. Nothing stood out to me. Summy was very Summy liked to play with books, and she would like pick up books and go in the corner, but everything it was just me and her in the house. I didn't have any children to like kind of compare her to. So
Uh-huh.
everything that Summy did, it was not out of the ordinary for me. Like,
Mm-hmm.
she liked to read books. I worked in a library for 4 years. So I spent most of my time, like, I'm an avid reader. I love, love, love books. So anytime I seen Summy go into the corner with the books to kind of like play by herself, I'm like, oh, my daughter just likes to play. We're not exposed to anybody. We're not around people. We're not around um much of anything. So I'm just like, okay. She was up under me all day. So there was nothing that stood out until we went to her, what was this? Her 3-year wellness visit. Well, right before,
Mm-hmm.
it was about 2 months before she turned 3.
Mm-hmm.
And the pediatrician said, and keep in mind, this was during COVID. So there was no continuity with her wellness visits. You know how when a child is in their, you know, the first few years of their life, they have
Uh-huh.
like the 3 month visit, the 6 month, the 9 month, the 12 month, all of that was canceled. So there was no continuity of services for somebody to look to see if anything was, I guess, out of the ordinary because
Because
COVID,
all of everything
they
was shut
wanted us
down.
to stay
Correct.
home. So they said, if you
Correct.
were not sick, there's no reason to come into the hospital. The only thing that they would do, like when she did have a visit, was weigh her and check to see like if she was gaining weight and stuff proper. Outside of that, it was like in and out. So like I
Mhm.
said, there was no continuity with that. So by her three-year old visit, we had a pediatrician, and again, it was never the same pediatrician. Every time we came, it was somebody different. So you could imagine how that is. Imagine going to the doctor and you're telling somebody information every time you go there, but it's a new person. So
Uh-huh.
nobody's able to really assess and observe like the standard protocol because there's a new person.
Every
So
time. Correct.
exactly. So
No
during this
consistency. I got you.
exactly. So during this time, there was a woman, she was a new pediatrician, and she basically um, was examining Summy, and she's like, I'm going to write you a referral for speech therapy. Because she asked me, she said, how many words is she saying? And I'm like, a few at the time. Like, it wasn't a lot. But she's like, I think they were supposed to be saying about like 200 words at this time. And mind you, I'm in COVID. I'm not counting how many words she's saying because again, I'm like, oh, she'll speak when she wants to speak. Outside of that, nothing else, like she would like sing little songs, but like as far as like really speaking. So I'm like, oh, okay. She's like, I'm gonna write you a referral for speech therapy. I was like, okay, no problem. So she's like, you don't have an issue with that? And I'm like, no, I'm a social worker. I'm all for resources. Anything that can help my baby. I think that she may have been used to people denying services, because there's a stigma around services. But I said, that's not me. I will encourage anyone to receive services. I said, what's the worst that what can happen? That she'll
Uh-huh.
learn language? No, like give me the
Uh-huh.
services. So she wrote a referral for speech therapy.
Uh-huh.
We obtained that referral. I asked her, I said, I want a copy of the referral because as a social worker, anything. I like to read documents.
Mhm.
I write notes all day long. Anything with my name attached to it, and especially with my child's name attached to it, I want to see like what it is that you're saying. So on the referral, she wrote referral for speech therapy, and then she also wrote suspect for autism, but she never told me that
The visit.
inside of the physical. And then in the notes she also wrote abnormal behavior. So I was pissed because you sat in here with me through this whole appointment and you've never said anything about suspect for that's something serious. Like if this is something that you
Why couldn't
discuss.
you just say that to me?
Exactly. I don't have a problem if you, as the provider, this is your lane, right?
Hmm.
That's not my lane. I'm not upset that you wrote suspect for autism. I'm upset that you did not facilitate that discussion with me as a parent. That's important, crucial information in my child's development. So if you're writing that on, I'm looking at the diagnosis. So I didn't see that until we had already like left out. And it was more parts of the story, but I'm not going to go into that. But to say the least, I wind up calling back because what we're not going to do is you're not just going to write my daughter's name on a paper with this assessment without going over it with me. I call back. I asked to speak to a supervisor because now we have an issue. The issue is not what you assess, it's that you did not have the common decency to let me know. That's like you going into a doctor's office and doctor is saying,
Hmm.
I'm assessing cancer systems, cancer symptoms, and this may be non-cancerous, but it may still be cancer. But you
Hmm.
don't say anything at all.
You
So
don't
I
even
speak with
to make me aware of what you
yeah, I
thought
speak
you
with
saw.
the so I want to speak with his supervisor, and the supervisor goes to say, like, oh, Miss Brown, I'm so sorry. Oh, you know how this could be a sensitive situation, so maybe that's why she didn't say it to you. I said, I don't care how sensitive. She's like, some parents take things personal. It's not about me taking anything personal. If this is what your provider, you have hired this doctor to provide
Hmm.
services. If this is what she has assessed, this is
Uh-huh.
information she should have relayed to me. What about the parents who don't read documents? What about the
Correct.
parents? Because that could have just simply been speech therapy and the parent would have not followed up and it would have been more to that diagnosis. And you would have just simply thought, oh, this child is a child who was simply not speaking whole time. The child is autistic and they're not getting other services, other appropriate services that can benefit them.
Because
We
they
have
didn't
to
follow through because they
exactly,
didn't read it.
exactly. So I said, I'm gonna use this as a teaching moment for all parties involved. I want to safe to say I left that actual provider. They're not even they left. There was Southern Pediatrics. I left them, but I use it. I lit into them because I said this is not how you do things. I said whether you think a parent is sensitive or oh it's heavy information. I said I don't care. It's your job. You do your due diligence to provide me with information, and from there it's up to me what I do with that information as a
Correct.
parent. So from there, I think it was more of a gut punch the way it happened, but
Hmm.
I appreciate that it happened because it then sent me down a spiral. I don't like I went down a rabbit hole like, oh my God, let me see. So I started paying more attention to things.
Hmm.
Now, again, in hindsight, the things that she was doing, nothing was alarming or stood out to me. But after that, that's when I started looking. We all started looking like more closely at all of her behaviors.
Hmm.
So we went and we got the referral. We started speech before any diagnosis because I said
Hmm.
the wait list for evaluations are crazy.
It's
So they had
extremely long.
a year wait list. But I said services won't hurt if you're still starting in the meantime, in between time, get the services while you wait. And
Hmm.
then by the time you do get a potential diagnosis, at least
Hmm.
you know you were already ahead of the game, right?
Correct.
So we
Because you
want
already been monitoring what's going on. So now you collecting your own
exactly.
data, doing your own homework. So now when I get to the provider, I need to be able to tell them some of the stuff that I've already experienced and not
Exactly.
just walking in there not with anything.
Exactly. So we wind up doing that. She got a provisional diagnosis first, and provisional diagnosis is just simply the educational we got hers in a form of educational diagnosis through
Mm-hmm.
the Dorchester, the public schools. They have a resource called School Finding, and a school
Uh-huh.
psychologist does it first.
Uh-huh.
And again, it's like a temporary diagnosis until she could actually get the actual medical diagnosis. So she got that first. And by the time she got the medical diagnosis, me and her dad was like, look, whatever it's going to be, it's going to be. We're not going to let this diagnosis break us, or make it's not going to make her or break her.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get her the support that she needs, and we're going to go from there. So I think we had already prepared ourselves. Long story short, we had already like built ourselves up to like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, we know what this is going to, because once we got the educational diagnosis, we're just like, all right, this is what it's going to be most likely. And then a
Mm-hmm.
year later, that medical diagnosis from MUSC. After that wait list, I mean, we technically we didn't even need it, but you still want it because that's how she was going to be able to get more services with that
Services.
medical diagnosis. The educational diagnosis doesn't really take you far outside of the
Uh-huh.
educational system. So with the medical diagnosis, there's different things that you can do with that. So I always encourage parents, even if they have like, oh, my child doesn't want to be labeled, or I don't want to stigmatize them. No, get the educational diagnosis because it will benefit, and they can receive certain accommodations. It'll help them more. So
Correct.
that's what happened. That's basically where we're at. And again, having an awesome kiddo, as you all can see, I'm not even in my office space, you guys, right now. I'm somewhere else because I have my toddler is in the living room with daddy. We got this one in my other room, going back and forth between two. This is where I'm finding quiet. So if my space looks a little different, that's why. So yeah, awesome mamas got to do what they got to do.
Exactly. And that you are an awesome mommy for sure. So tell me how how do you navigate your time? Like right now, outside of okay, when daddy's got them, what do you do to just quiet yourself to take care of you? What does that look like?
So I actually I have a new series that I'm prioritizing myself. It's called the Live Well series, which is I'm
Uh-huh.
doing something for myself to pour into myself, being intentional every single
Uh-huh.
day. It was inspired. I have a 90-year-old auntie, and I had put her up
Uh-huh.
on my social media. And this woman is the last one out of two of the last living of 15 siblings. This is
Uh-huh.
my grandmother from my maternal side.
Uh-huh.
This is her sister. So it's two of them left,
Mm-hmm.
and she'll be 91 in April. And I
Mm-hmm.
put her up on my social media, and people are like, oh my gosh, she looks amazing. She looks amazing. And I'm like, that's what happens when you take care of yourself. That's the thing. Like, I would never believe that she's 90. And I'm like, yeah, when you take care of yourself, when you do right by people, when you trust God, when you trust the process,
Mm-hmm.
when you live well, that's what
Mm-hmm.
happens. So I
Mm-hmm.
said I wanted to make it my duty to live well. Like, she's an inspiration for me to always live well, not just live well, but again, as awesome mamas, we want to be around to take care of our kiddos for as long as possible, because nobody's gonna
Mm-hmm.
take care of my baby like I'm gonna take care of my baby. But
Mm-hmm.
being able to pour into myself, the way I do that is each and every day I try to do something for myself, whatever that looks like. I'm a heavy gardener, so I love plants and flowers. The spring
Mm-hmm.
is officially springing, like the weather in out here in South Carolina is warming up. So I'm gonna go out there and fix up my garden. Like, that brings me peace. Being around Mother Nature, getting my hands dirty with some soil. I'm gonna go fix my garden because it's been again a little
Uh-huh.
bit cold. I haven't been able to do that. But even just going outside, getting some vitamin D, taking my walks, clearing my
Uh-huh.
mind. In the mornings, I start my day with gratitude, blasting my gospel music. I need to start my day with my gospel music while I'm cooking breakfast, of course, for the for the kiddos. But being able to, even just on my alarm, like
Uh-huh.
my phone, I have where I schedule slow time. Like, every few hours, I have little alarms on my phone that says slow down. And sometimes we'll get through the day and you don't even realize, like, you've just been going, 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 and you have not had time for yourself. So these little alarms every 3 hours, it'll say slow down. And during that slow down time, I do whatever I need to do. If I sit down, If I go take my walk by myself,
Uh-huh.
I get up from my computer. I work remotely as a social worker. So sometimes I need to get away from my computer. I'm looking at my computer all day. That hurts my head, right? And a lot of times our bodies manifest stress physically before our minds
Mhm.
actually catch up to it. Like before we understand that we're under
Correct.
stress. So I
Yes.
get up from my computer. I check to see if I'm carrying pressure in different parts of my body. I
Uh-huh.
focus on my jaws. Why is my jaw clenched? Is something bothering me? I focus
Uh-huh.
on my shoulders. I drop those shoulders down. Sometimes your shoulders are high end and all the way up to your ears, and you don't even realize like you carrying extra
Uh-huh.
pressure and extra baggage. So those are just the little things. I do practical tools for myself because I know that every day is gonna look different. There's days that I may not be able to get outside, but I don't want to say, oh hey, because I didn't get outside, I'm not going to prioritize myself. What can I do that I can still take care of myself that doesn't involve me, going out? Like if it's in my house, like I create my sanctuary wherever I'm at, whether it's in my house, whether it's outside. I do what I need to do to pour into me. So I encourage mamas and any parent, any awesome parent or people in general, do
Mm-hmm.
whatever you need to do. Schedule that slow down time,
Mm-hmm.
and start small with the same way we have routines for our kiddos. We
Uh-huh.
need to have routines for ourselves. What does your wind down routine look like? You're doing a wind down routine for your kid. You're making sure that they have a Dr. Teal's nightly
Mm-hmm.
bath and to get them to wind down. Why aren't you giving yourself a bath? We rush through life. We rushing in the shower, jumping out, jumping. No, take that same time, pour into
With
yourself.
yourself, correct. So we don't pour from an empty cup.
Exactly. Like I
Absolutely.
always
We
say.
gotta take
I,
care
I
of
say,
ourselves.
I say, when people say, "Oh, you can't pour from an empty cup," I say you can because awesome mamas do it all the time, but it doesn't mean that it's healthy. I've
Correct.
seen awesome mamas spread themselves thin and have nothing left to give and still give the little bit that they have. Not just
Correct.
awesome mamas, awesome daddies too. I've seen them do it. But at some point in time, we have to figure out new ways to live. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
and I get it. A lot of awesome parents are living in fight or flight mode and just going,
Mm-hmm.
going, going, going. But at some point in time, you're gonna have to slow down. So if you start small with your routines, and I'm not saying have a big grandiose list of things to do, but start with one thing. And
Correct.
after you do that one thing for a few weeks and
Mm-hmm.
add another thing onto that list. And you do that other thing, and by the end of the month you'll have two things. And then by the second month you can have three things, and the fourth month and so forth. And you just keep going until you have your own little routine down to ensure that your mental health and your wellness is stabilized and prioritized because what good are you if your kids need to just as much as this is their childhood and their experiences, it's your motherhood experience as well.
Exactly. And we have to take care of ourselves. And if
Hmm.
we don't, our it'll show up in our bodies. It'll
Of
show up in
course.
our in every part of us. You know, our minds, how we process things, and our joints and our muscles, it will show
Hmm.
up. So we have to take care of ourselves. It will show up. You know, and
Hmm.
sometimes, if we don't listen to our body, we will go, and then the next thing what happened? Oh, she's in the bed,
Hmm.
she's sick, all of these other things.
Hmm.
And you don't want to be stopped because you can
Yeah.
be stopped, but you don't want to be
Hmm.
stopped.
God will sit you down.
Yes,
Look, if
yes,
you
he
don't slow
will.
down, he'll slow you down for look, and you
He
don't
will
want to be
put you
slowed
on the
down.
pause. He will put you
Hmm.
on the pause. But one last thing, I want to talk about our fellowship that we had Saturday going. It was absolutely amazing where we made the flower
The
um
envelope floral
the
arrangement.
envelope floor. So
I
I know
see
y'all can
yours in the
see
back.
mine
I
on
see
the
yours sitting
yeah,
there.
back here on my counter. It is absolutely amazing. The flowers are still live. Let me tell you, that was an awesome event. Tell us about how you started the meetups. It has been
Hmm.
absolutely amazing. We have been growing, the women have been coming, you
Hmm.
have been pouring into us, you have been showing us so many different things to help us to de-stress.
Yeah.
Tell us how that came about.
Okay. So it's called Awesome Mamas Meet. If you have Facebook and you're autism mom, feel free to join. Like I said before, I have a heart of service, so I'm always looking for ways to be of service, but also I consider myself a community builder. So I'm very intentional about building community. With that being said, I moved out here from New York not knowing anybody. My in-laws live out here, but I mean, in regards to like after Summy got her autism diagnosis, I wanted to have, interact with people who understood, people who got it, which were other autism moms. So looking for community, it was hard to do that. We were in a pandemic. So I had joined TikTok. I joined TikTok and I started just sharing my story on TikTok, and I grew like my following right now where had like 9K followers of fellow autism moms who followed me because I openly and honestly share my story. And I'm a firm believer that shame dies when our stories are told in safe places. So when you share your story authentically, your vibe is going to attract your tribe. Like the people who resonate with it, they're going to resonate with it. The people who don't, right? So a woman in my comments was like, we need to have
Please.
you need to start a group. You need to start a group. And I'm like, a group for what? She's like, you need to start a group, a autism mom group. And this was TikTok was like doing away. I
Mhm.
think they were like trying to like cut TikTok off or something last year. So I wound up starting the group. I started the group last was it like last July, and autism moms joined. And it basically was, I'm like, community is everything, and I know we live in a
Yeah.
digital world, but it's nothing like physical community. Like we're not meant to do this journey alone. So being able to
Mhm.
commune in person. So I said, I know we all have busy schedules. Once a month, let's, do an outing for us so we can kind of connect.
Mhm.
Being able to connect in a way where we have about a few hours away from our children
Mhm.
and doing something, whatever that looks like, whether it's brunch, whether it's me bringing my passion of flowers, whether it's, whatever that looks like. The last time we had like a little outing by a pizzeria, like doing different things. And I
Mhm.
encourage women from all different states, all autism moms to join. And someone, I understand hosting is not everyone's ministry, but someone from whatever state, if you're in New York, like you say, hey, I would like to meet other awesome moms in New York. You say, hey, let's all go plan a lunch date, and comment on the page and kind of get interactions going that way. But the goal for
Mhm.
the group is literally just for you to get out at least once a month, prioritize your wellness and commune. I never want to turn somebody away just in case they don't find childcare. So as you know, look, we have the awesome babies with us sometimes, and that's okay too,
Mhm.
because I don't want people to think that they're not deserving of community, because I know our situations are unique, and some days you may not have somebody to watch your awesome kiddo, but you still want to attend the event. So last week we did a floral arrangement event. All I required was people to show up. I had the supplies, like there was no charge or anything. Um, and I taught people how to make envelope floral arrangements, and it was an awesome time. The women loved it. It's very therapeutic making your own like floral arrangements, and it teaches you something that you may not be used to. So this is Sister Sonia's right there. That's her arrangement. And that's for March, I'm actually thinking of a picnic, mommy and me picnic, because some women, again, they cannot find childcare. So it's just a kind of fellowship in a park. Everybody bring a little snack and we hang out around, and the park that I'm going to, it's in a back. It's gonna be the field in a back, so it's nothing around there. So if the kids want to run around, it's like if you have an eloper, it's literally free space. So you're not gonna, like, they can't go far because it's just a field. We'll literally all be there, and everybody can kind of take turns helping out each other with the children. But I think that's what's gonna happen. I created a flyer. I just didn't have a chance to put it up yet because it's been a busy day. My head is killing me, and I just been ripping and running today. But yeah, that's basically what Awesome Mamas Meet group is about.
Thank you for sharing, and that's going to be awesome. I'm excited. That way we can meet each other's children.
Mm-hmm.
And, because I know the objective is for us to be able to, you know, have a good time,
Mm-hmm.
without the kids. But I think it's important that, just like you said, if the mothers need to bring the kids because they don't have respite or child
Mm-hmm.
care, that we keep that open.
Yeah.
Um, and then if it's a need where we need to assist them in helping them get somebody, then also, do that as well. But this has been absolutely amazing. I know this is just a smidgen of some of the amazing things that you do,
Mm-hmm.
but I was intentional and just asking God to help me to celebrate, our sisters this month, because it's important that we know that this month and every month that we can soar together, that we are
Mm-hmm.
better together, that we are absolutely amazing, that we can do great things together regardless of what society say about us not being able to get along and we catty and this, that, and the other.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be intentional about being confident in who you are to know that you can, enjoy your sisters, and all of us are on a journey. All of our kids are different. All of us are different, but we can do life together. And you're right. We absolutely need one another because this is a journey that you should not, none of us should be doing this by ourselves, but we have to be intentional about, helping each other. And I thank you for coming on. I thank you for your time. I thank God for allowing us to connect. I thank God for allowing you and your family to come to the movie. And I am believing that that conversation that we had earlier, that
Mm-hmm.
is going to happen with some other couples,
Yeah.
because I think we do need to have that dialogue as well,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of families don't make that part of the journey. So I want to thank you for coming on. Miss Teresa Prelo said, thank you for your service. This has been, that you are truly an awesome mom. I
Oh,
know it's
thank
on
you.
multiple platforms. She loves the floral arrangement. She said it's beautiful and it was a great idea. It was an awesome fellowship. I mean, we had an amazing time. And it was just, it was just so relaxing. I've never I've never done anything like that before
Mm-hmm.
in that type of setting. And I thank you. It was just it was so relaxing. I didn't want to leave. I'm telling you, I really had a good time. But I just want to thank you for coming on. I'm gonna
You're
let you go so you
welcome.
can get back to your family, and we
All
will
right.
be talking. I'm gonna put you backstage and I'm gonna make a couple of announcements. But thank you so much for coming
All
on, sweetheart.
right. Have a
Yes,
good night. Thank you for
you
having
too.
me. All right.
You welcome, sweetheart, and thank you too. We'll talk soon. Take care. But everyone, I just wanted to thank you guys for coming on for this amazing candid conversation. We will be having one every Thursday of this month for Women's History Month. I want to thank you all for coming on. I want to thank you all for joining us. I want to thank Dr. Brown for coming on. She is an amazing woman. And as we celebrate Women's History Month and as we soar together as women for this month and every month beyond, I'm just so grateful to be able to partner with other women in their whatever role that they play in the community. She is a social worker, she's a mental health professional, and she is an autism mom that provides a support group. And I know it's other women that are doing support groups. It's a lot of us that are doing support groups because it's a lot of us that desire support, for so many different age groups and so many different communities. And it's so amazing. I thank Dr. Brown for coming on. But this is being sponsored by Whole Women in Progress. And I am Dr. Sonia Wilson Bailey, the founder and CEO of Whole Women in Progress, where we assist women to a greater place of wholeness by renewing their mind, rebuilding their bodies, restoring their souls, and rejuvenating their spirits. And Whole Women in Progress is a faith based women's organization where we assist women to a greater place of wholeness by renewing your mind, rebuilding your body, restoring your souls, and rejuvenating your spirit. And how do we do that? We do that through the Word of God. Our website is www.wholewomeninprogress.com. Um, I also have a Be Fit for You community where I do chair fitness there. I do provide that in other senior centers where I go in and do chair fitness with some of the seniors locally. And I enjoy that. You can contact me on Messenger. I am on Facebook, Sonia Wilson Bailey, and I'm on Instagram, Sonia Wilson Bailey. Um, Let me see what else I want to share. We will be back on next Thursday with another guest. I'm not going to share who that guest is. You will see the flyers. Just join us next Thursday at 7. And if you desire to be a guest on the show, please just reach out to me, inbox me, and I will, do some interviewing behind the scene, see if you're a good fit for what we're Whole Women is all about and what we desire to do on the show, and see if you would be a good fit to be a guest on the show. Um, Let me see what else. Hold on one second. I'm just excited about all that God is doing. I do have a Facebook group, Whole Women in Progress. I do prayer on Monday mornings at 6:30 a.m. On Wednesday, I give a message or a word of encouragement about health and wellness and various other topics on Winning Wellness Wednesday. And on Fridays at 6:30, I give a message. And I already know tomorrow I am helping roll the wheels. So that message will not be at 6:30 tomorrow unless I record it tonight. And I will not be recording it tonight. So you will probably see me around 8:30 or so, or sometimes there in between, sometimes tomorrow, because even though I'm driving tomorrow, I got a field trip tomorrow because our kids got a half a day. So I'm going to pop in on you. Um, Surprise, 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 sometime tomorrow for our Freedom Friday message on tomorrow. But that's the times that I normally come on: Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 6:30 a.m. And that's usually consistent, but I already know that it's going to be a different time tomorrow. Do anybody have any questions before I get off? I want to thank you for joining the broadcast tonight. I will see you next Thursday night with another one of our amazing women for our Women's History Month. We are doing one woman it might be two women next week for our Women's History Month, because the Lord has given me specific topics. So I might have two women next week. But to God be the glory. Thank y'all for joining our amazing Women's History Month. Thank y'all all for joining. My name is Sonia, Dr. Sonia Wilson Bailey, the founder and CEO of Whole Women in Progress. And I am hosting this Women's History celebration for the month of March for Women's History Month. Thank you guys for joining. Having an amazing evening, and I will talk to you later. Y'all have a good night. Be blessed.